I don't believe that art can be described in words. What's important is to engage with it directly. It doesn't matter what the critics say, what this or that important critic says. What matters is direct contact with art, what it makes you feel. Everything else doesn't count. All academic chatter doesn't count. All reviews don't count. This video doesn't count. There is no scientific method of evaluation. In this video, I would like to focus on two of Arca's works, in my opinion, the most beautiful, the mixtape Entrañas and the eponymous album, Arca. Listening to these two works of art catapults you into a dimension different from ours. Every sound has a precise role. Nothing is there by chance. I like to think that Arca's works are a hopeful way of saying, look, there's something else beyond your bubble. I like the word hope alongside Arca's music, because even in a dark, frightening, anguishing, delirious mixtape like Entrañas, which means viscera in Spanish, there is hope. Not by chance the mixtape ends with Arca's voice dissolving and sounds breaking down to create the sound of fireworks. An ending that screams rebirth, an ending that inaugurates something new, and then everything repeats. You start listening to it again, but it will never repeat itself the same. Every time I listen to it, it's a different experience. A visceral mixtape that takes you inside yourself, into parts of your brain that you didn't think you could explore. A set of sounds directed masterfully, repetitive psychotic rhythms that make the image at times static, but then another wave of harmonies and melodies overwhelms you and everything becomes dynamic. In people with post-traumatic stress disorder, the images in their heads are static. In clinical psychology, a method to help process trauma is to make the image dynamic, make it active. There is a before and an after. There is never just the fact, and this mixtape seems to me like a therapeutic journey. A way to make a pain dynamic, a way to overcome trauma, a way to dry and simultaneously accept and make alive an ancestral, old, calloused pain. Melancholic melodies, but hopeful. It's never just dark. There is always a thread of light in every piece. You don't even realize when the pieces change because it's a unique path, a unique journey. There is no break. You have to immerse yourself completely. You almost don't have to breathe. Those sounds hammer your head and you can't escape. The last time I listened to the album Arca was a couple of days ago. It was raining, I was in the car, and I had to wait for an hour. At a certain point, I felt a knock on my window. It was a man asking if I was okay. I think this is the perfect image to describe how that album makes me feel. Arca's voice in that album makes me feel cradled. The image that album gives me is of an entity, a mutant singing from a cell lost in the universe. From his cell, he sees the stars, sees the galaxies, but he is there. It's not necessarily sad, but he is there and lives like that. His face is the one on the cover, and I would like to open a parenthesis, even though one parenthesis is not enough, for Jessie Kanda, Arca's friend and the one who has curated many of her music videos and visuals. I honestly can't imagine how I would perceive Arca's music if those visuals, those images weren't there. I just don't know. The cover images of the albums, the videos, the visuals, I believe they are an indispensable element in music. I believe they are as important as the music itself. They give an extra essence to the music. Jessie Kanda's work, the art he performs, is something sensational. I invite you to explore his work because not only will you be fascinated, but it will make you discover something more about yourself. Returning to the album, this was the first album where Arca actually sings. Her voice becomes an instrument, an additional sound to be added to those productions, which in this album I would define as liminal. The sounds of those basses are a descent into hell. They are deep oceanic sounds. They catapult you into the abyss of the ocean. The productions are very different from the previous mixtape. They are more sparse, also to leave space for the voice, but also more direct. Those sounds lead you where they want. The voice is orchestral, dramatic. The reverb used in that way makes you sink and then rise. It seems to me the music suitable for a David Lynch film.